in West Point, I don't think we had real problems because we lived right there on the corner of 3rd Street and the Courtneys lived right on Main Street, and we were all just good neighbors. And I knew what was going on around me, but we weren't involved in it like some people.
One of my best friends was this black guy that drove the garbage truck. His name was Carol Gresham. And when he used to come by and I'd run out there to meet the garbage truck, and they'd pick the thing up, dump it in the truck. And I always told my mother I wanted to drive a garbage truck when I grew up. But I really liked this guy. I mean, some of the black guys in town were my best friends. And
I don't think there was any tenseness about it. When you grew up in that system, and I think you'd have to grow up in it to realize what it was like. I don't think if you didn't grow up at that time, I don't think you can put yourself back like it was. But it was just an accepted thing that the blacks had a school and we had a school. And although we played with them, played during the day and so forth, and it was no problem at all. But you didn't think of going to school at the same place at all. But I don't remember the tenseness whatsoever.
Well, we used to only could go to Louis to see things like Lassie Come Home or Shirley Temple or somebody like that. And our biggest remembrance was that we had to sit upstairs because it was segregated during those days, and we didn't have any outdoor, indoor toilets or plumbing, so we had to. If you had to go somewhere, you had to run fast. Yeah. I had a classmate named Virginia Thornton, and he was always a civil rights minded. So we found out we were not getting typing, and we didn't get advanced math like we were at the West Point High School where Mr. Humphrey was principal. So he took himself over there and said he wanted to have Latin and Algebra 1, algebra geometry, and he wanted typing. And so through his perseverance and others, we were able to receive those, curriculum subjects. Well, when that happened, I think that was in the 50s. I was in college. Now, what I do remember, they closed the Beverly Allen as a high school portion, and so they sent out a bus from the county seat at King William for the kids who were not going to school at Beverly Allen to go to King William. But no one got on that bus but one person, and so the bus just took one person to the high school, and we just stayed home. And there again, my colleague and classmate, we had 1 year or 2 year of college, and so we were helping tutoring the kids who were not going to school at that particular time. And I would dare say that our civil rights case here in West Point was just second to none, almost as low as at Prince Edward County during that time. Yeah, we got along pretty well, but I do remember some fights that we had a little, not a gang fight, but I remember walking home from 12th Street where the Dobbins and the Thornton lived, and we encountered I'm going to call him Ronnie in his gang. He had this big barbed wire and a pipe or something, so a little scrimmage, but after that we got along pretty well. I have to say that was just common happenings, We didn't carry any grudges or waving the flags and anything.
King and Queen County would not give the King and Queen children a bus to go to school. But some of the residents in King and Queen put a bus on to send us to school. But we just ignored things and we just studied. King and Queen had no high school for us to go to. And it was 2 residents over in King and Queen. They bought a bus to give us transportation to come to West Point, to Beverly Island School. and we had to pay $3 a month to Beverly Island and $2 a month for transportation. It was before, it wasn't as bad, you know, before it was. I started in 1945. Well, the people in West Point, they treated us royal. And our parents would tell us, you go to school to learn, not to criticize. You go to school to learn, so that's what we did. I think we got a good education now, because it made us what we are today.
And it did bother me that I was working with the Red Cross back in 1950s. And of course, then immigration hadn't come about. And I would go down to the drugstore and eat my lunch. And it always bothered me that when the blacks came in, they put that order in and into a bag and had to go out. That bothered me because some of those singing people were people that I kind of grew up with.
We got along fine. We played with the black kids when we were little, and when the time came to go to school, we just went to the, what school you were designated, and we always felt that's the way it always been, so that's the way it should be. So we didn't think a whole lot about it. When they integrated the West Point High School in '62, that was my senior year. That I think 8 black students were admitted that year in the 8th grade, and I was a senior. I remember they made everybody had to go into the auditorium and sit down because didn't want any ruckus outside, and they had all the reporters come down from Richmond and state troopers and people all over the place looking for a big story, and nothing happened. And they were just admitted, and the article in the Times-Dispatch kind of worked around till finally they were just talking about the big columns out in front of the school because there really wasn't any story.
I was caught up in the segregation part of West Point when they closed Beverly Island High School down. And I didn't attend high school in West Point. I only went to the 8th grade. And in 1952, 53, I stayed out of school the whole year because of the closing of Beverly Island High School. I tried to enroll in the previously all-white school on 12th Street, but the 29 of us that was left at the school went to the school, and the principal then was Mr. Humphreys. He refused to let us in. Well, from that point, our parents were behind us the whole time, and the town had bought a brand new bus to send us to Hamilton Holmes High School, 16 miles away. But our parents refused to send us because we were residents of the town and they paid taxes here in town and they wanted us to get an education here in town. When the town refused to have a school for us, we received our education through a teacher that was living here in West Point by the name of Dolores Tuppence, and she became the first physical education teacher in Middlesex County at the St. Clair Walker High School. And she asked the authorities over there if we could come over, if she could bring some students who were out of school to that school district, and we enrolled in school over there at St. Clair Walker. And that's where I got my education from. And then it was a compulsory school law back then that children under 15 had to be in school. And I was one of the ones that was underage. And so they arrested 9 of the 29 parents in West Point. And then we had to go through the court. And that's when NAACP came in, and that was in progress here in West Point, and that helped us a whole lot to go through our struggles. Well, I feel now like I was a pioneer on the situation, but to help to get the schools integrated here in West Point. everything was peaceful. We, demonstrated and marched on the town and everything. They sent the National Guards out to watch over us, but we didn't get any recognition here in West Point. But we were just like the little people in Little Rock, Arkansas, and Prince Edwards and everything. But West Point never to get on the map about it.